Today, I'm going to talk about ChatGPT prompt. Before I do that, I'm going to give an overview of ChatGPT and some of the terminology, and also go through two ways to work with ChatGPT. And inside a ChatGPT conversation, the three major roles in a ChatGPT conversation, and what the four major use cases for ChatGPT. And I also give you some concrete examples that compare a good prompt and a prompt that's lack of detail and the output from ChatGPT for those prompts. And lastly, 2 points I want to bring up. One, 2 rules to get the right answer from ChatGPT, and then a couple of gotchas. Very important. But let's start. What is a ChatGPT prompt? A ChatGPT prompt is actually a question. A question to ChatGPT is considered a prompt. It's a different way of telling what a question is in terms of a ChatGPT context. However, to get the most useful answer from ChatGPT, we need to ask the right questions. Also, ask the question right. There's a quote from a movie, I, Robot. Professor Lenny in the Hollow game say, I am sorry, my responses are limited. You must ask the right questions. So when we talk to ChatGPT, we need to ask the right questions. We also need to ask questions right. This is a diagram for a human to raise a question to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT come back and respond. A question is a prompt. Before we go deeper into the conversation and the overview, I'm going to give you a couple of important terminology you hear a lot on today's conversation, and also a lot on the internet regarding AI, ML as well. First was called large language model, LLM. This is what ChatGPT is built on top of. It's a model that is trained using a lot of data from the internet, the crafted input, the input that is crafted by organization, by teams of engineers, that is filtered, that is validated, that is meaningful. And then lastly, incorporate a human feedback. These three sets of data is a large amount of data. They use those data to train and come up with a model called large language model. Artificial intelligence is a concept of making machines and systems act like humans, sense like humans, and behave like humans. And machine learning is just an application of artificial intelligence. There are various forms of machine learning. You probably hear a lot about called neural network. If you on the AI ML field, there are different type of regressions, and there are different type of classification. Lastly, prompt is considered as a question to the AI system.